Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is our 31st discussion in the series, The Smart World Around Us, brought to you by Smart EDU Hub. Today, we're really getting into a fascinating book, Smart Cities de l'idée de l'implémentar. That translates roughly to something like Smart Cities from idea to implementation, or maybe how technology can really make our cities shine.
That's a good way to put it. It's by Cătălin Vrabie and Eduard Dumitracu. And our goal today, well, it's pretty straightforward. Pull out the key ideas on how cities are evolving with tech. But we want to look beyond just the flashy stuff. We're focused on what actually boosts sustainability and, importantly, your quality of life.
Absolutely. And just a quick reminder, you can find a link to the book we're discussing right there in the description below this deep dive. Okay, so let's dive in. The starting point, the core definition. The authors say a smart city uses intelligent tech to make things more sustainable and, well, life better for people. They mention folks like ION and Siemens here.
Yeah, and what I find really compelling is how they frame it systemically. They use this great analogy, the city as a living body. It really helps grasp the complexity.
Oh, okay. How does that work?
Well, think of it like this. The roads, the sidewalks, public transport, that's all the city's blood system.
Right, getting things moving.
Exactly. And then institutions, city hall, universities, schools, they function as the brain, the control center.
Makes sense.
Utility companies, sanitation, heating, the musculature, the power behind the operations.
And I think you mentioned green spaces.
Yep. The parks, the trees, those are the city's lungs. Absolutely vital.
Okay, lungs.
Then you've got attractions, museums, theaters, that kind of thing. That's the heart, giving the city its pulse, its life.
The heart, I like that.
But it's not all positive. They also point out the negative spaces, landfills, derelict buildings. They call those the city's scars.
Scars. Wow, that's quite an image. It really emphasizes the imperfections, doesn't it?
It does. And it leads to a key point. Becoming smart isn't like installing an app. It's not a project you finish.
So it's more like evolution, constant adaptation.
Precisely. It's baked into the city's ongoing life. It's DNA, if you stick with the analogy, a continuous process.
Okay, so it's continuous. How does this transformation actually happen? The book mentions two main paths, right? Two approaches to getting smart.
That's right. First, there's the top-down approach. This is very much driven by central planning, focused on efficiency.
Big data, big investments.
Exactly. Think large-scale tech rollouts. The classic example they give is Rio de Janeiro's Operations Center. Huge IBM project.
Right, I've heard of that. Coordinating everything.
Pretty much. Over 300 agencies using real-time data, surveillance, big data analysis, specifically trying to predict things like floods or landslides. Very centralized, very strategic.
Okay, that's one way. What's the alternative?
The alternative is the bottom-up approach. This is much more focused on the citizens themselves.
How so?
It's about people using readily available tech, social media, open data platforms to solve their own community problems. Like the example of kids in Rio sticking mobile phones on kites to gather data.
It's kites. Seriously, that's pretty innovative.
It is, and cheap. It highlights this contrast, top-down strategy versus grassroots innovation, and it forces us to ask, what does smart even mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. It probably varies a lot.
Hugely. Look at India's smart city mission. For many cities there, smart isn't about, hyper-efficiency or fancy apps. It's about fundamentals.
Like basic services.
Exactly. Things like reliable running water, electricity, basic sanitation. So the definition of smart really depends on the local context, the starting point.
That makes total sense. So we have the tech, the strategies, but you mentioned citizens. What about them? Their role seems, critical.
Absolutely essential. And this brings up a major challenge. Cătălin Vrabie points out something crucial. The new form of illiteracy today isn't reading and writing, it's digital illiteracy.
Meaning people just don't know how to use the tech.
Or don't have access, or don't trust it. It's that gap between the technology being available and people actually being able or willing to use it effectively. It's a huge barrier.
How do you bridge that gap? You can't just force people to use an app?
No, you can't. That's why citizen engagement isn't just nice to have, it's fundamental. The solutions won't stick otherwise. They won't be accepted or used effectively.
So you need people involved from the start.
Yes. The authors talk about participation models, things like co-design, where citizens help design the solutions, and co-production, where they might even help deliver them.
Okay, are there specific ways to do that?
Yeah, things like living labs, real-world environments where you test solutions with citizens, or crowdsourcing platforms. They mentioned Next Bengaluru in India, which gathered something like 454 ideas directly from citizens.
Wow, that many.
Yeah. It's about creating channels for that conversation between the city administrators and what people actually need and want. It's about closing that distance.
It sounds like it's as much about social change as it is about technological change.
It really is. And tying it all back to that systemic living city idea, the complexity means there's no one-size-fits-all answer. And maybe a final thought for you to chew on, something the authors really stress. Copying what another city does, say trying to be the next Paris or London, is likely to fail.
Because the local context is different.
Precisely. If the solution doesn't fit the specific needs, the specific scars and strengths of your community, it just won't work. You have to address the local reality.
That's a really important takeaway. Focus on your own city's unique nature. Well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive. If you found these insights useful, please do like and subscribe to the Smart EDU Hub channel. That way, you'll be the first to catch our new discussions. And don't forget, that link to the book, Smart Cities, de la idea de implementar, is in the podcast description below. Thanks for listening. Stay smart with Smart EDU Hub.